Welcome back, Dbloc. that daily candle on Solana looks pretty ugly. Your altcoins look like they might be doing another Bart Simpson.
All right, so we just got this daily close happen right now. And in my opinion, it's all right. We didn't close bearish or anything, at least not a bearish engulfing. We weren't able to close above previous candle on the daily, at least not above the body or wick, but we are in a nice area. It's on the top half of the previous daily candle, which I like. But this, this next one could be a doozy the way it looks. It's going to take, the bulls are really going to have to step up to the plate to move this next candle because selling pressure is probably going to start to accelerate soon. But I'm staying in. I'm not selling. Bitcoin could go down to 104,800, 104,000. I still think that would be very nice bounce right there. Even lower, like anything up above 98 right now. Safe 101 on the daily for, previous support level. So that's what I'm looking at.
Let's go. Where the Bears at, baby?
Right now is their opportunity, man. This daily, because they should start it off now if they want to. If not, us bulls are gonna take control. We're gonna flip this new daily green, if you know what I mean. And that previous hammer upside down doji is not gonna be reversal anymore. Because if you look closely, made a higher wick. And now if we make even a higher one on this next one,
Yeah, man, I'm prepared. Either way it goes, I'm prepared.
That's good. That's the way to see. Right now, I'm not too prepared if it goes down, but I'll start preparing myself if it goes below 101. That's when I'll start preparing myself.
Yo, Drew, take a look at Solana on its daily candle. What does that look like to you?
Let me see. Let me see. I haven't looked at Solana for a while.
I got a bag here at 138, but I don't think it's gonna hold, man.
Man, I mean,
That's a bearish
I
candle,
think,
right? Bearish close, daily close.
well, it's not a bearish engulfing. Like, it's not, it's, well, what's good is you did most of the moves. Like, most of the gap got filled by that candle if you look closely. Because you might even have support. Like, the only gap would be down to 137. Where you at, 139?
Yep.
So 137, you got the wick of the previous, like the pivot point of June 22nd. So I think that could be significant support, that June 22nd wick. I don't know, man. All these look pretty good. They look like a crooked inverse head and shoulders trying to form. A lot of them. To me, it still looks like it's trying to reverse. It's been on a downtrend on the daily, and it's making a higher low right now. I think that pivot point is going to hold to 127. I think that's a really good pivot point actually on the daily. The pivot point that we got down on the 22nd of June. That's the same. That's a bottom support and a top support. 22nd of June is an important day for that daily chart. I think so. If you hold the top of that 22nd of June candle for the top of 138, in my opinion, just looking at this naked, it looks like it's trying to continue its macro reversal, and it's just making a higher low right now. It shows that it finally is ready to reverse from that pump that it had up to 290, because it dropped. You got to see it dropped from 290 all the way down to 97. So, and it pumped from 97 back up to 187. You did more than half the move back down. Everything seems satisfied price action wise. The only gaps I see are below 78. So I think Solana is a good play. I shouldn't be saying that because I'm a Doge maxi, but I do think Solana is a good play.
Appreciate that, bro.
Duh.
And what I'm noticing on Solana, you're still on the upside of the parabolic SAR on the 6 hour. Somehow, wait, let me see. Okay, you're on top. No, we're under on the 6 hour, under on the 4. Let me see. Daily or under. You want to break that parabolic SAR. So once it breaks 149-ish, if it breaks the 149 soon, you'll probably get a nice pump all the way up to 170. I think that would be the move right there. It's going to accumulate from 139 to 149. That's going to be the next accumulation zone for a few days, and blast off up to 170. and then probably get a slight rejection at 170. Accumulate between 170 and 150, and then continue on to finish off the all. I actually drew out a nice little chart right now. I'm going to keep this little Solana chart I just drew. Might have to make a trade on this play. Big buys coming in. Big buys coming in. Watch out. We're getting closer to that $108,000 again, ladies and gentlemen. Bears are starting to get scared. Notice how scare rhymes with bear? Anybody ever notice that, or just me? Bull sounds with cool. So right now you can have a local double bottomish scenario off Bitcoin. Almost the Adam and Eve that spread out, ugly Adam and Eve with a gap in between them. Right now, Bitcoin can do a little reversal up and test that 108 again.
Yo,
Bang.
I got in a trade last weekend, and then on Sunday, it was up $1,000, and then I had to go to bed for work, and then Monday I didn't check till after work Monday, and I checked, and then the trade's in the minus $200, and then I just kept it open, and it was still in the minus 200 yesterday, and it's in the green right now. And then
Nice.
if Bitcoin pumps, I'm probably gonna close it out.
Wait, is it a short?
Yeah.
Wait, what coin is it?
SHIB.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's just a hedge against my crappy long. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, sometimes you get lucky and you round trip in the right direction, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it pumps. I gotta close it, but I gotta be on it for if it's short. So I gotta hedge against my long right now. But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, you could always keep a tight stop, right? That way you're
No, I'm trading risky. I'm trying to take
yeah.
a little bit of money and build an account.
Goals are important, right?
The most risky way, and then I'll take a little bit of money, $20, and I'll put 3% of it in a trade, and then I can hedge either way. If I'm wrong, and yeah, just go for a little bit long-term trades.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works. I am in similar realm of having small margins and trying to build from small. Figure if I can build it from small, then I can always scale up, right?
Yeah, you don't want to learn with big money because you'll lose it. You want to learn
Sure,
with
good.
small.
Yeah, yeah, and when the fire is right under you, right? It's a good it's a good teacher as long as you don't spend too much time getting burned.
Yeah, man, I've been learning for only a year. I've been watching the markets and trying to learn to trade.
Right on. It's like
And
month
I've
6.
only used profits from my spot portfolio.
Very
And
good.
it's kind of like gambling for me right now.
Well, if you're gonna gamble, at least play poker, right? When you have where player skill does come into play, and your ability to read things can improve your gameplay or your bets or your whatever you want to call it, your
Yeah, man. I
positions.
see
I
what
should
you're
say.
saying.
Yeah. I don't think there's any reward without risk in this world. So uh, if this is the grounds on which you choose to
Yeah, man.
apply
And
your
like,
skill sets, man, sorry, go ahead.
as long as you're like you're not losing so much money, you're building from a small, you're not really risking that much, but you're learning to trade the most risky way. So once you learn and figure out what you're doing and become profitable, you'll be able to gain that money way faster.
Right, and like that's the thing, right? It's even if all you start doing is making $1 here, $1 there, if you're winning in your trades and learning your entries and I mean, like you're mitigating your risk already by only putting in a small portion of your assets, which I think that's I believe that's kind of like the mindset of the wealthy, right? Is you don't spend what you can't afford to, and so you don't risk more. Like like you don't buy a Rolex if you know that's anywhere near like more than 1% of your assets, right? And really, you don't buy a Rolex, but like point being, like you have uh if you are only divvying out a small portion and you can make that small portion grow, like you know eh, that seed can turn into a tree which can feed you for a lifetime uh, off a very small investment, and that's great.
Yeah, man. So like if I was gonna buy $5,000 worth of spot, any coin spot, and then
Mhm.
if I instead of just putting $5,000 in the spot, if I potentially uh, took like $500 or $100, and then you do like a high leverage trade with just a small portion, you could potentially make way more from just that $500 than that 5,000.
Yeah, you take on more risk, and everybody's uh, risk
And you're using,
potential and dynamic is different too, right? But
yeah, it's
um,
a tough game. You got to be real smart to do it, but
yeah, sure. Well, I wish you safe trades, man, and lots of success.
so when Bitcoin ran up to 112,000 here, I flipped like $50 to $1,000, but then I accidentally messed up and I got greedy and tried to take my profits from my hedge that I should have just kept open, and then so I took those profits and screwed myself over and got my trade liquidated at 107. But if I kept it open and didn't take those profits, it wouldn't have got liquidated. And then Bitcoin came down to 98K. I would have been able to take like almost my full 1,000. But I screwed up and I was being greedy and trying to take more profits when I should have just kept that trade as a hedge.
Almost sounds like some push-ups,
Yeah.
but it does sound like you're taking note and recognize mistakes. But the whole regret should have, as long as you don't phrase it kind of that should have, would have, could have in your mind, just learn from it. And even if
Oh yeah, I was
like
just
there's so many sort of
you just see the money there, and it was like, yeah, I don't know, I just wasn't in the right mindset at the time too when I was doing it. I was like, yeah, I could take the money, and no, I was a hedge trade. I needed to keep it open so that my good trade didn't get closed out, and I took too much profits from it and screwed myself over.
Yeah. Did you
what I
learn?
know.
Did you learn a valuable lesson from it? Right. And how do you plan to apply that lesson in the future? Right. 'Cause that's like I know when I was learning, especially at the beginning, I didn't understand risk ratio. I didn't understand exactly how liquidations worked, and I thought I was within the right margins, and yeah, I lost some, but uh, now I knew where kind of like the boundaries were, right? And so from there, it was just improving my strategy, improving my entries, improving my mitigation, and controlling or applying discipline to my mindset, right? And that enabled me to uh, be in more profitable positions and not over leverage and not expose too much of my margin at a time, stuff like that.
Yeah, discipline is very important. I've learned like throughout the bad trades I've had, no matter what, if I stick to that plan, there's like that. Even if I don't have a stop loss, there's a number I know if my portfolio gets to, I'm like, all right, I got to just sit back and reassess the situation. And I might lose position when I do that because a lot of the times that happens and you get whipped out and it just starts pumping again. And you're sitting there like, oh man, I just got out. Just got to sit back and just accept your decisions and wait for the next train. Even if you have less coin count or whatever, your trade's not as kind of optimal. It's like just waiting and never like when you get to that threshold, say you have a portfolio and if you lose 50% of it, that's like you have to set a limit somewhere, whether it's 75%, 25%, just somewhere where it's like, all right, I got to this level. Like if you're a big baller and you're like, I don't want to go under 100K, bigger baller, I don't want to go under 1,000,000K. Because once you get to that threshold, it's like, don't go under. Like just take a break, go work something else if you get there. It's like, because once you dip just a little bit below, you broke the threshold and you go deeper. And that's where you break the discipline. So whether it's a stop loss or something in your head, to have that discipline to say, I'm going to manage my risk and know if I go under this amount, I need to reassess and take a break, because I think everyone should have that kind of number when they start trading, whether you start with $10 or whether you start with 10 million bucks. If you start with 10 million bucks, you should be like, all right, if I go under 9, and this is just non-financial advice, but let's say I'm just on our number, it's like, I don't want my portfolio to go under 9 million. So, let's just say 1 million is going to be put on, on the liquid, on dry powder, and the other 8 million, 9 million is not going to even touch the exchange. And you have to stick to, even if you're down, you're like, oh, I got to feed my short, I got to feed my long, I got to feed this trade, dollar cost average. It's like, no, you have to pretend you have no more money. And it's just like, if you get to the zero, it's like, you might as well quit. Just give it up. Go find another job. That's my opinion.
Yeah, bro, I'm 21 and broke, so I'm starting from the zero, dog. I'm not starting with the million or 9 million. I'm starting from the zero, going
Hey,
up.
that's legit, man. And there's been people that have done it, and they've lost it all in one trade and they made it tenfold back on the next. So,
Yeah,
especially
man.
if you're in a like high risk environment, but it's like once I think you get that Kickstarter, if you're going high leverage, it's like kind of start setting those limits. It's like, say you're up to like 10 G's, be like, all right, I'm not going to let my portfolio go under 8 G's, and if it does, let me just go out and take a walk and reassess the situation, make some more money, but not touch the rest of my money, and just start again small. Don't go and
Yeah,
dip
man.
in thousands of dollars from your other bags.
Yeah, I know that like some prop firm tests will have rule sets where it's like, you can't lose more than 500 or like 5% of your margin a day. You have to close your trades overnight, like you can't leave them open. Um, and like all these are ways to mitigate your risk, right? And especially if you're starting from zero, right? Like it's all the more reason that you should be absolutely careful about the margin that you build and to treat that with the respect it deserves. And
I
um
see that way, but I think I also see it as it also prevents you from trading like a boss.
but
Yeah, yeah, I hear that.
not to say those rules are the ones you apply. I just like you're you're gonna have losses and you're gonna have wins, but anything that you can do to structure the way that you prevent those losses from eating away the wins and round tripping. I mean, you want to develop like good habits, right? And not financial advice, just you want to develop good healthy habits with trading. It doesn't mean you can't trade like a boss, but a part of trading like a boss is managing your assets, right? It's uh, being able to be in position when the time comes, right? Um, Maximizing your profits throughout the process. All of that can be done, but it's always a good idea to consider and create a structure for yourself, just like you would as a boss create a business plan, right? And apply and deploy that business plan to be most effective. So
Yeah, man, I sent you a link when you got a sec. Like, just you don't have to listen to all of them, but just like if you could scan through the ones that say Ghost Maze and tell me which one's your favorite one, and I'll give you some more material. Because I just read your email. Good looks, man. And I used to mess with concrete a little bit. I got in a little back and forth with one of the dudes. I'll tell you about it with Selman a little bit back in the day because I used to do a party that was actually not like opposite of their party, but we clashed nights sometimes, and we'd have people from our parties going to their parties trying to bring people to our party and vice versa. So there's a little bit of beef
yeah,
back in the day, but it's funny. I'll tell you about it later.
yeah.
I'm looking at Bitcoin on these smaller time frames. It is looking like it wants to push up higher.
Push it, baby, push it.
But like it's tricky. I gotta keep my throat open right now.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky up here, man. Especially every time you zoom out and you just see like, damn, we've ran since like 30K. Sheesh. Scary up here, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, bro, when we were down there at 15, 20K, I was building, me and my uncle built 5 townhouses, $20,000 each. And I was telling him, I was like, man, you should get this Bitcoin. But he was putting all his money into buying his house and his mortgage and whatnot that he just like signed out and got all that into a mortgage deal and whatnot. But like, if he didn't do that, he could have saved all that money, threw it into Bitcoin, and it would have been worth way more. And I was telling him at the perfect time, literally the bottom of the bear market. I was saying like, look, Bitcoin's about to fly, and he's like, yeah, man, but I gotta put all my money into the house.
Yeah, I got some people too that they hit me up every now and like, damn, man, I should have listened to you. I'm like, don't worry about it. I didn't listen to myself on some of the moves I made either. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it bullish. I'm gonna try to burn this bear costing pretty soon till winter time. It's getting too hot to put this bear costume on. It doesn't make sense. So I might have to burn it.
You know what's interesting, Drew? You said like you get scared when you zoom out. You said we came from 30. But you know, one thing that doesn't make it as scary right now for getting into Bitcoin is because it made a new all-time high, and it's below its all-time high while stocks are in their all-time high. So you figured it's maybe just lagging behind. Versus if we didn't front run and make that all-time high like a month ago, we'd be going up against like trying to break
I feel you. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, totally. That gives some
Yeah,
sentiment.
dude.
It helps
Yeah, I
the
like that
sentiment
a
out.
lot
Yeah.
too.
but I feel like that's a fake out, bro. Like it seems bullish, but I feel like it's a trap, man. I don't know why. Because it's like
You think it's reverse? You think it's on some reverse psychology?
yeah, dude. It's like people are like, oh man, 111, let's break it. But like truly, I don't know. I don't know.
It probably goes back to the M2 money supply, right? Us being all time highs relates to the money in the market, which in the money's going up. So it's goes in unison with the
I mean, yeah.
stock
It's
and the crypto.
Yep. To me, it's obvious that everything's going to get tokenized, man. It's cash is out the door soon. Cash is too cumbersome. It's too heavy. You can't even with digital Swift, that system is still it's more vulnerable, especially the more decentralized blockchain gets. The comparison is pretty much night and day between Swift and blockchain. So we're going into a new era right now, and people are realizing like, yo, this is it, like digital liquid cash, and it's going to be blockchain based, and everything's going to get tokenized. And market's still we're in the fetal stage. We still haven't given birth to what's to come. I think so. It's just like we're hanging, looking at that 30, but then you zoom out. What happened from 30 to 5,000? Then you zoom out the fractal from 5,000 to 1,000. Zoom out the fractal 5,000 to $1,000. Zoom out the fractal 1,100, and you're like, you know what? This thing has just been booming, and it's not going to stop until someone pulls the plug on the world energy circuit.
I want Bitcoin to pull back to like around 102,000, 100,000 to 102,000
I think it will.
or popping off.
Yeah, I think it will. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think we're not going to bounce back. It is crazy to think that like the world was not like the world was so against crypto, right? Like the industries and the banks and the
Oh yeah, it
government.
was
And,
cheap.
like,
They
to
didn't
think
want us
that
to buy it. They
now,
were preventing us from buying it.
right? And now everybody's trying to figure out which token they're gonna incorporate into their business, if not create their. Like that's wild to me, and it's progress, right? Like that's pretty cool. I mean, there's good and bad to it, but man, like this was like a fever dream to us, like a long time ago, man, and like, it's crazy to see this become this such a big
But
part of our world, our everyday world.
They're
and
merging us
and I,
with the technology.
well, just speaking of technology, though, it's up to us, man. It sounds corny and cliche, but that's like, I think every person has a duty, whether you're like, a maxi or non-maxi, but like, if you believe and you have some conviction in one of the cryptos, you should be supporting its infrastructure somehow, not just like by buying it on a centralized exchange, trying to really interact with it like directly without being a third party interaction. And
Yeah.
you can do that whether you're running a node, whether you're just doing transfers on a swap on like regular wallets on DeFi, whether you're mining, whether you're participating in votes of airdrops, all that kind of stuff, man. I think it's like everyone's got to do it, and that's how things are going to grow. Because if not, everyone's going to rely on like, oh, we have a few nodes running, a few miners on Bitcoin, everything's going to be good. Like all this security is not going to be able to run on Ethereum and just Bitcoin alone. Like there's not that many miners and that many nodes when you think about it. Even Doge, if you look at the Doge map, that's why I try to run 3 nodes, because there's a lack of people running nodes. People are greedy. They just want the liquid, but they don't want to really participate. So it's just like I run a node. I'm running 2 right now. I sometimes run 3.
Hey,
But
how
you know,
how
it's not
difficult is
hard.
setting up Doge
Sometimes
node? Sorry.
what's
Sorry.
what's that?
So how difficult is setting up a Doge node?
Man, it's
For
easy. It's one,
yeah.
two, three. Just go to Dogecoin.com and you'll see just download the Dogecoin core wallet. And by having that wallet, you have a very secure wallet and you become part of the Doge chain. But you have to have like 35 to 40 gigabytes available on your hard
Oh, yeah, I
drive.
got that.
And you have
How
to
much
resync
storage you got?
every time you turn on your computer, you have to wait a little bit for it to resync. You can still do your stuff, but you can't do transfers until it syncs up. And sometimes that could take, depending on the speed of your computer, it can take, half an hour, an hour. If you have a fast computer, it can be like 10 minutes, And the longer you stay offline, the longer your resync is, because you're resyncing, becoming part of the blockchain. And you can do the same thing with Bitcoin too. You get a Bitcoin core wallet, you become part of the blockchain. Even if you're not mining and you don't have a Bitcoin miner, you're helping keeping Bitcoin secure. And not everyone's going to have to rely on a few bigwigs that have, some centralized power in some country that we don't even know about. They might be spread across the map, but I think it's up to people to keep this stuff decentralized. It's important. Bitcoin,
Right.
Doge, Litecoin, all that stuff, Ethereum.
Well, that's the big part, right? Is that you are directly contributing to the decentralization. And you can do that with not a lot of assets and basically just having a PC, is to my understanding that it's decent enough, and a
Yep.
connection to the internet, right? So
Even phones, sometimes you can do some operations on nodes, at least to interact, with the blockchain.
yeah, that's what's up, man. I'll definitely check it out.
Like if you're in Sui, see what's up, see what the protocol is about. I bet you a lot of people, you might have votes that you're able to vote. I know I should be doing more voting on Helium. There's one guy we have here. He runs a lot of votes on Helium and the HNT network, which is pretty cool. I've been running this little hotspot, so I've been supporting that, but it's been supporting me too. Pays for my one of my cell phones.
I just closed 50% of the short. I'm bullish, baby. Come on, Bitcoin. Don't make me add to my short again.
Gang, gang. Bulls on top. Who let the bulls out? Shit.
Let's go.
Bully dogs on top, baby. Bully dogs on top.
We got to be careful. Can't get too, we got to keep it cool, because once we get a little happy, they'll dump on us. So got to keep it cool, because we're about to pump to $1 million. You guys ready?
Are there any videos like in the ever to exist that is literally like a full grown bear and a full grown bull going at it?
I read about that, and seems like, it depends, man. But the bull would win a lot of the time.
I read about it. Okay, and
No,
it
look,
depends.
there's back in the Balkans, they used to do that, and even I think Romans, they used to have that. They used to have the bulls and bears fight. Yeah, they used to make them
It
fight, man,
depends if
straight
it's
up.
a black bear or a grizzly bear.
Yeah, grizzly bear will rip.
I'm talking, dude. Hey, look, let me tell you something right now. I'm saying that the bull gonna win. It don't matter which bear you put
Yeah.
in.
I think
100.
I need some steak.
Some bear steak.
Yeah, I've never even ate bear, really. I don't know.
Oh, I've eaten some bear meat before.
Maybe I had a bear burger before, but I don't think so.
Not a bear
I'll be
claw.
right back. All this talk about bear meat's making me hungry. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I just had some chicken.
Dude, this guy Peter, you guys know this guy Peter Schiff? That's on Twitter.
Please.
Yeah, I've seen him.
He's posting about copper. He's posting about copper.
Hey, I'm not a big fan of coppers. What's up? Oh, you mean the metal?
Bitcoin's above the moving averages on the 1 minute. Hopefully, it can just like.
Yeah, he was
pump.
like, the price of copper is over 3%, up over 3% today, trading back above $5. That's a 25% rise in 2025. That does not bode well for the Fed achieving its 2% inflation goal anytime over the next few years. In fact, as the dollar declines intensifies, copper's rally will gain momentum. This guy's just like a metal bull, bro.
He's a metal what?
He's like a big gold bull, but I guess now he's also like a copper bull. He just like is all about metals.
Well, who'd you say that it was again? Peter.
Peter Schiff. He's like some economist.
SCHOF or IFF?
Yeah, it's Peter Schiff. He's gold max. Peter Schiff.
Is it I?
SCHIFF. SCHIFF.
Yeah.
Peter
Okay,
Schiff.
that's what I thought.
He's like been anti-Bitcoin and like pro gold for like last few years.
Holy crap! My brain just had the biggest like brain fart.
Yeah, he's pro Dogecoin though. He was clowning Bitcoin maxi, saying, why would you guys have Bitcoin when you can have the red shiny Corvette Dogecoin or something like that?
Let's go, baby. Pump Bitcoin. Let's fly. It's 1 hour, 4 hour, looking like it's ready to curve up above the
non-financial advice, man.
moving averages, man. Like, come on, just fucking. Let's go.
Dude, not financial advice, but 4th of July, there's going to be some fireworks, man. America is trying to be number one, the USA crypto capital of the world. And I think they're going to try to represent.
Last
above
4th of
the
July.
21 on the 2-day. Like, let's get a move here. Come on, baby.
It's coming, man. It's coming. Just gotta hold on. Let me call up these.
I gotta set up stop loss.
Call up the vampire whales. I'll be right back.
I gotta set a freaking stop loss for once. What the heck? Who sets stop losses?
He's talking about copper. Is anybody like talking about silver?
What are you hooligans in here yapping about?
I'm on silver.
Nothing. We're just chilling.
I've been on silver for about
chilling on the block, bro.
months.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah. The thesis on silver is that right now, if you look at utility, silver is now more used than gold in more important aspects of silicon making, fiber optics.
Right.
So silver is a more important mineral.
Correct.
And if you look at the discrepancy in price between gold, so gold being jewelry or whatever its value really is, there's actually so much price potential in silver. So for the next 5 years, if you look at the price of gold and what it did in the past 5 to 10 years, it's not a flight to risk asset like gold. Silver is so important that price is about to explode.
Well, just the only reason I actually asked is because he mentioned copper, and copper is the second most conductive metal in terms of use. So there's a need for it, and silver's the most conductive.
Yeah, silver is the most conductive. Exactly. So like, but the thing is, silver also has the jewelry value also. That's why it has more potential to increase in value. Copper doesn't. So that's why gold has both utility and what do you call that? The rarity value, it being jewelry. So it actually costs more. So that's why silver has that potential. And considering how low the price is for silver right now, it's just so easy to bump that price up.
Oh, bro,
wow. I never thought about it like that. I always thought
Well, silver's at all-time highs. Silver isn't very low in price at all right now.
Yep.
But you don't really have to look past this cup and handle. I mean, you ever seen a prettier cup and handle than this?
Ooh, big sales.
And then you realize that you're looking at yearly candles.
Whoa. What's going on?
Oh, snap.
going on here?
Let's go down.
No.
Measured move is on the screen, guys. TA's been up there for a minute.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, sheesh. Let me check that. What are you saying here? Oh,
Like Dbloc called it
let's go. I
already
just
last
added to
week,
my
so
short again.
it's a good
That's
call.
sad, man. Like, oh, I didn't
We had
even
an
check the
opportunity to
screen.
get
Yeah.
above the 50. I
I
was
was
like,
looking
if
at that flag, but
the Bulls could take the 50 and hold, then we could have avoided the sweep. But
geez, why did I close my door? Good thing I added
Good
back,
job.
baby. Let's get the drop.
Price shouldn't have took 50% of your trade there then, huh?
Nah, it's all good because I added back. But
Oh.
yeah, I don't know. I just gotta watch right now. Pay attention beyond the charts. But yeah, hopefully soon Bitcoin. Hopefully we get like a higher low at least, and Bitcoin can blast on up out of here and send the alts with them, and I can hopefully hold this position.
Sprinkle low right here, a little sprinkle here, a little sprinkle there. But I'm not scared of you, Carlos.
you're not scared of anything, apparently.
I'm not, dude. I have
My
conviction.
man jumped right. My man jumped right back in. Excuse me.
I'm ready for anything right now.
Whoa, I'm seeing a video title here. Ethereum death cross just flashed.
Bro, just delete YouTube except for this channel. I don't know how else to. I'll be completely honest with you, bro. Don't let those titles
Yeah,
drive you crazy.
I wasn't gonna watch it, bro. I wasn't gonna watch
No, I
it,
mean
but
you could watch. I'm just saying that the titles are meant to do that, right? It's that
yeah, I know.
clickbait, rage bait, fear bait shit.
Yeah. And then this one says, "This is next." Yeah, right, pal. We'll see.
Man, tell the dude to delete YouTube, and I forgot we were on YouTube. Like, wait
Nah,
a
I'm not
minute, wait a
deleting it.
minute.
It's
Hold on.
better than like the news, you know? Yeah.
I'll be right
Yeah,
back, yo.
YouTube. We were just kidding, YouTube. You know we love you.
YouTube? What?
Well, yeah, I didn't want to,
What?
you know,
Huh? YouTube?
delete everything from YouTube besides this. You know, it's just if the
This guy,
algorithms
this guy
picking
here is
that up.
titled Altcoin Secret. He's got some type of secret.
I got some secrets.
You know what the secret is? If you pay him money, you'll have less money.
No cap. Yeah, bro. Who had any knowledge on altcoin season, huh? Let's hear it. Anyone know when the alts are gonna fly?
Yep.
Yeah. What you watching
4th of
for,
July,
huh?
baby. 4th of
4th
July.
of July?
Rockets, rockets, rockets.
Let's go. It's right before
Beautiful.
my birthday. That'd be nice. Bro, I've been waiting since Bitcoin hit 69K, somewhere around the last cycle top is when I first started learning about Bitcoin, but I was still too young to like buy crypto. And then I started buying altcoins when I was able to buy. So I've been waiting for alt season since last cycle top.
Yo, alts have like insane sell pressure on them right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, they're getting cooked.
I ain't scared.
I did not expect alts to be back down here. Like, I didn't take
Yeah, we just went
really
through
any
World War
profits from
III.
my spot portfolio, and now it's all the way back down to break even. 2 times it came back down. This is the second time.
It's crazy, dude.
Like, cause when they first had like the move, I was like, no, I'm not gonna take profits. It's just starting, and then came back down to break even, and then this past December, was like up, kind of forming like a double top, if I guess, formed a lower high, and then now we're back down here making a lower low.
Market's gonna get shook out right here. I'm about to pump. No, not financial advice. Let's go.
All right, I'm back, y'all.
Like just massive, like let's just have a massive explosion out for the alts. Like let's hit the bottom and just pop. Gonna suck if it just like stays down
Did,
there for a bit.
did Atlanta get hit with a missile from Iran? Breaking.
Atlanta,
Iran-
Georgia.
Bro, stop.
No, they claimed it was a meteorite.
Bro, they're paying
Yeah.
Iran to do this stuff, bro. They're paying
No,
them.
no, it all came out as a meteorite.
Yeah, I saw.
Iran's
I don't
being paid, bro.
believe it.
They're being paid.
I'm
I
just
feel
in
like
the air. I'm just in the area, and it came out earlier today.
I feel like they started with some dude cooking some meats up.
It looked like a bullet hole. It looked like somebody shot a gun up in the air, and the bullet came back down and went through somebody's house. That's the only evidence. Besides,
Sounds like a missile to me.
Besides something falling through the sky, I wouldn't be concerned. I'm not
That
concerned, and I'm
happens
not
every
too
day
far
in
away.
Atlanta.
Oh, did America just
Bingo,
enter?
bango.
Bro, what the heck? I'm seeing Fox News on YouTube here. Jesse Waters. This may be Daddy Trump's best week as president ever.
Oh, that's fine.
I think it's time for you to get off YouTube, my man.
No, dude, if you go to the White House Twitter page, the White House posted a video montage of Trump visiting NATO, with the song "Daddy's Coming Home" or something, bro. It was weird. They posted it yesterday, or "Daddy's Home."
Bunch of bootlickers.
Yeah, that was not on my bingo card, but you know, here we are.
Daddy's daddy.
That's
Holy crap! Let's get the drop.
God, it just came out of
Let's
nowhere.
go.
Only somebody could have seen that coming.
Only the Cyphers saw it.
Nah, I mean honestly, guys, it's a pretty clean little bear flag. Like that one wasn't even hard. What I hate is how long it's taken to do this shit.
It's
Like,
bleeding out alts, dude. It's like
Yeah,
bleeding them
is it?
out and
because of the
taking
time.
liquidity into
Yeah.
the Bitcoin.
Why you want it to be really quick, drawn out day after day after day, and you give Dom a chance to just pump and pump and pump. It's not good, bro. Not good.
That dominant. Way up there.
That's nice.
Yo, Dbloc, where are you watching for dominance to go to? Like the
Like top out.
yeah.
There's no telling. Nobody can
Yeah.
tell you that.
Hmm.
Many have tried and many have failed during this bull market to tell you exactly where dominance is going to. I had 2 targets that already got hit and smashed out.
Like, where's your top targets? Like, what'd you say?
I mean, the target that I can say, I don't think it'll ever get there, and I'd be surprised if it does, but it is literally the next target above us is last bull market's all-time high. Just the thought that Bitcoin could be
Yeah,
holding the same amount of dominance right now when there was only
like around
4,000 coins during the last bull run, and now you're looking at 10 million. And dominance is still going to have the same, still going to hold the same percentage dominance. Bitcoin's still going to hold the same percentage dominance with that many more coins. That's insane.
Yeah. So that the top was like around 69, 71%.
74.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was watching like for 69% maybe.
It matters less where it goes. It matters when, right? So it's like, I just hear everybody struggling with alts, and like I can't keep saying it enough that it is not time to be taking risk on alts. Blue chips, high market
it's pumping.
caps, high conviction alts, yeah, cool. Played safely, cool, yeah. Anything other than that, you're taking major risk. Unless you're just a trader, unless you're just jumping in, getting the money, taking it, and running.
The dominance is flying right now.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to like stick around in them.
Not time to hold alts. There's nothing holding them. If they're all bleeding out against their BTC pairs, how's price supposed to sustain itself?
Yep.
Yo, but Diva, what makes them bleed out though? Like, are people just selling the alts right away? There's no one holding.
It's
There's no
just
one buying?
Bitcoin's
People are definitely
outperformance, right? So since there's nothing underneath, it's hard for holders to, especially now, right? They've been rewarded for selling for the past 2 years, so it's almost impossible to get people to hold now. But when the Bitcoin pair rises, that means people that are trading against the Bitcoin pair are holding on, right? So in one scenario, you've got bot sellers selling off because they haven't been rewarded for holding. And then you got BTC traders, BTC pair traders selling off because it's bleeding out. But if spot's going down on USD, but it's going up in BTC value, then at the very least, you have those Bitcoin holders holding. Right? The BTC pair traders aren't selling with the spot traders. Your very best trade is one that looks good on the USD chart and one that looks good on the BTC chart, because you got both sets of traders in position and willing to hold towards a specific target. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's nothing to support price. Remember, most people to this time, the most amount of money that's traded on alts is traded on alts for more satoshis. That's the only reason. So if there's something that's constantly making that money flip back into Bitcoin instead of the asset you're trading, then when it pumps on USD price and it comes back to retrace, there's nothing to hold it.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Reef, you got an open mic.
Yeah.
Stop screaming at your mom.
Yes, you did.
My bad. Yeah, I'm looking for Bitcoin dominance to maybe top out around 70%, 69, 70%. Maybe wick up higher, but hopefully like gets a run up there or sooner.
If you're Bitcoin heavy in your portfolio, the dominance going up doesn't bother you. And the problem is so many people, are Bitcoin heavy right now. This will change. This will change. Rate cuts will bring it down. Also, the Genius Act passing will bring it down.
Yeah, Bitcoin maxes are having wet dreams right now with what's going on.
Bears are cooking.
We'll let them cook a little bit because they're about to get cooked.
I think it's best just to temper everybody's sort of expectations on what we'll see some volatility the next day when we set up our trap longs, trap shorts. Possible we could have already set up our trap longs and we're just coming to trap shorts into Friday so we can get back into our sort of weekend deal. But let's just rewind for a second to the weekend and just appreciate how beautifully this played out. Because the model we trade, right? Trap long, trap short, weekend trap, whatever side that's trapped gets freed indicates the false move. False move ends on Monday, going into a 3-day reversal. Right, so we got that. False move came down, freed the trap shorts, topped out, 3-day reversal, and then our midweek reversal, which is here. So it's the same as what happened last weekend. 3-day was in this direction, 3-day swing was in that direction, right? False move week beginning was in that direction. And then our midweek reversal was consolidation. Right? Reversal can either be sideways or in the opposite direction of the week. Right? So our reversal brought us sideways. That's exactly what happened here. Weekend trap, except we moved up. Then we had our 3-day swing down. And our midweek reversal was sideways. See
Would
what I'm
that have a
saying?
different name since it didn't reverse the full way, since it just
It's
went
just
sideways? Or
it what it does is it reverses the direction, right? It just stops. It's like a pivot, right? So it could either go sideways or it could pop up.
right, it's pivot.
Yeah. Oh, this magnet is upsetting me.
So you
Hold on.
said the reversal could either be the opposite way or sideways.
Yeah, all it means is that price is going to stop moving in the direction that it was moving for the 3-day swing. Sometimes it'll consolidate. Most times it'll straight reverse.
Yeah, 'cause I guess market movements, right? It's either, you know, bullish, bearish, or like gridding, right? Chopping. So
Yeah,
that's still a shift in momentum or a shift in direction, even if it's not like a direct reverse, I guess.
So here, right, this price action here, which was our full week of price action all the way up to the next weekend trap. Right? That's 1 week. And then this is our next week. But when you flip the chart, it's exactly what we did. And it's what we just did now. Same deal. Now we're waiting for this section, right? We're waiting for our traps. Waiting for the volatility that comes in, traps longs, traps shorts, and then we're waiting to range in between those two. So if we look at how it's sort of lining up now, if I wanted to magic wand it, if I could, let me check to see if there's enough volume up there to consider trapped. Yeah, decent. I would swing down. If I was market maker, I would swing down, take these liquidations, pop back up tomorrow, CME closes, and then we go into our weekend range, right? That would make these our trap longs, make these our trap shorts, and then we'd be back into the weekend trap setup. I know if you're brand new here that all of that sounded like pseudo TA, but stick around, subscribe.
Yeah, it was a little tricky for me to follow, but yeah, I see. It does look similar, and
It's all about motivation. Every piece of the weekend, every part of the weekend rotation has a purpose. Right? It's market makers that have motivation to make price move. And this is just the fingerprint of how they do it, right? This is the tacit agreement that they've all come to with each other to be able to move price towards their targets without stepping on each other's toes. So the weekend trap is meant to keep price at CME. Right? When CME closes, there's a gap that's made from CME from Friday until Sunday. That gap is full of imbalances and nasty shit that market makers get paid to take care of, right? Market makers' job is to provide balance to the market, right? Mean reversion. So what happens is that line creates a magnet for the algos. Their job is to keep price there until Sunday so that there's no gap when Sunday comes. The only way they can do that is by trapping long and short traders. If you trap the most degenerate of all the traders, right, meaning the most extreme, those willing 100x on a pump and willing to 100x short on a dip. If you get them trapped, now their margin is stuck in trades, right? So they can't affect price, which makes it easier for market maker to keep price where he needs to at CME. Once that's done, and there's been liquidity built to both sides. Market maker picks a direction to fake into, which is just a liquidity sweep, right? Comes to one side, clears the liquidity, and then runs the trend for 3 days in one direction. This is where the money's made. And this is where the setup, the vectors are set up for the next week. Then you come into the pivot that's meant to slow down price action going into Friday when you're trying to trap people, so that you're kind of pumping the brakes before you get to the wall, so it's not hard to make the traps and go flat on the weekend and do it all again. This part of the cycle is 1000% just based around bringing balance and clearing those imbalances in the order books and going after the liquidations that stack during the weekend. And that's how we end up with that sort of wave structure. There's always a method to the madness. It's important to understand the why, not just the what. Because then when it changes, you can make sense of it.
What do you think the weekly high was that last week?
It's hard to judge because we could have already trapped longs, right? Which would have meant which would make the weekly high 1082. But we still have tomorrow, and we get a lot of volatility, right? So even though we already have a high set, we could easily do something like this. We could come down, sweep these liquidations, come back up, get knocked down off of all these sell walls, hard rejection off of all that Bitcoin that's sitting there, and then CME closes and we end up going into a, and then this ends up being our trap short, this ends up being our trap long. And we still haven't gone into our weekend trap, so it's kind of hard to, not even the setup, right? We're not even done with the reversal. So there's still time on the board for it to make a move. And there's definitely a nice little target. You know, exchanges are really low on Bitcoin. So whenever they can go up and get some more Bitcoin on exchange, they tend to do it. Problem is, we spent so much energy holding this level, right? Staying on this 15 EMA for all of this time. Like, I don't know if we have any gas left in the tank to even make moves like that, to be real with you. They did an amazing job of farming shorts the whole way up, though. I mean, literally. Like, they'd go up, clear all the shorts, come down for a minute, the shorts would pack back up, and then whoop, take them. And then they'd run it again. And the bears would jump back in, and they'd take them again. But because of that, we built plenty of liquidity at the bottom that needs to be handled.
And basically, they're gonna come back down and get that liquidity.
Yeah, I mean, you know, got to pay the piper.
Right.
Now, they say bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Like, if you caught that long from 105 up to 108, 100x, and then you triple topped off of 108 and didn't take profit, you could put yourself in the, like, you know, the piggy category.
Big buys coming in.
I was curious. So I was looking at some macro charts, trying to familiarize myself with kind of the larger scale picture, and I was trying to find confluence for indicators on, like, when we hit those, those bottoms that we spring up into, uh, the bigger move up with, and was wondering if there's anything that's clear indication other than just obviously price itself. Um,
Of when a pivot is happening.
yeah, kind of
Got to
to
build it out
find
by
that pivot.
structure, right? That's like what we do here is catch falling knives for the most part. Or at least lately, it feels like that's what we've been doing. But you're looking for structure to change, right? You're looking for candle structure, body stopping volume candles, bullish engulfings. Then you're waiting for your momentum to shift, right? Doesn't matter what price is doing. What matters is if your EMAs have shifted to positive momentum or bullish momentum, or bullish or bearish momentum.
Mm.
Right? If your 13 EMA is still under the 50, even though price popped up and got above this 50, it means nothing. Right? Look at the yellow EMA as your price. Look at the 13 EMA as the support or resistance to that price. And the 50 EMA is the magnet that pulls price up and down when it's above it or below it. The price itself, the candles, just represent the volatility.
Copy. Yeah, it was just I don't know, this last bottom at 98, like
Yeah.
didn't quite seem to have the same punch as the other ones. And so I was just kind of trying to figure out if that's if there's a possibility we have another step down before we take a step up, or even not
Yeah.
necessarily down, but
You mean a lower low? Or
yeah,
just like a
possibly.
higher low? I don't think we see a lower low. We built so much structure coming
Mm.
off of like 98 that unless
You
we had
see,
some news change, I would find it really difficult.
Yeah. So
see how
maybe what I'm looking for is like more momentum on a higher low, because it just didn't, like when I was looking at my RSIs and stochastics, like it was there, but it just it didn't quite have like the deep punch like some of the other ones did
Yeah.
on the charts.
If the volume isn't
So,
there, right, you want it to be supported by spot.
mm,
So when you put on your volume, if you've got price going up, then you want to see volume going up. Right? What you don't want to see is something that's volume divergent. Right? Look at the biggest volume candle we had here was on the drop. Right? All of this price appreciation up to grab these vectors is happening on lower volume. Right? Which means this move is to clear imbalances. It hasn't till now been supported by spot. The spot isn't backing up the move. You know how you look at your RSI divergences?
yeah.
It's the same sort of thing, right? If price is moving up, but volume is moving down, then you got a bearish volume divergence. One of these two things need to change. Either volume will spike up and break that trend, or price will roll over and match the lack of volume. So you want to stare at the tape and look for your aggressive buyers and sellers. Right? You want to see this light up yellow with real buyers. Then you want to shoot. Right? If you're bullish here, you want this to light up like that. You want a lot of them though. You want them to like light up the board, and then you want to hope and pray that you can shoot for this liquidation pool right here, and then this will take you the rest of the way if it actually gets there. We have our stopping volume candle. We know that that's the line that a body of the next candle can't close under. If you get a body close underneath that line, you've invalidated the bullishness of that stopping volume candle. Right? It's the same thing that we did here. What's going on, Lodic?
yo, you see how tight the moving averages are? on the I think 1 sec. 4 hour. We're above all of them on the 4 hour, 6 hour, 8 hour, and they're tight, like looking like we're gonna get a move potentially.
Yo, there's is PCE data the like preferred Fed data? I think it is, right? Or is it something
It's
else?
one of the it's one of the ones they focus on.
That's tomorrow, man. 8:30. That might be the key.
Yeah, unemployment came under today, surprisingly. But final GDP came in hot.
Yeah, there's PCE data at 8:30 tomorrow, and then consumer sentiment at 10 a.m.
Excuse me. 5-minute chart shows vector recovery. Market maker left a green vector up to the 50 for that mean reversion, right? That's the balance that we're talking about, right? 50 is the magnet. 13 EMA didn't get anywhere near crossing. And you've got 40 minutes to fix this candle. I mean, 40 seconds, sorry. But I don't know how long I slept for, but I knocked out.
Is it breakfast or dinner time?
Oh, it's always breakfast if I haven't eaten. Like the first meal that I have of the day, I don't care if it's 6 in the afternoon, is breakfast.
You got that right.
Hey, pizza for breakfast is valid too, right?
Pizza is just a good all around food. It's all 4 food groups.
And most importantly, delicious.
Put down on 1 minute. Playing out.
Dbloc, how's your mom doing?
Good, man. Good. Good. Mom and grandma are good. Crazy
Good
as
deal.
ever, but you know,
I hear that.
keep us on our toes. Good night, Lippy. The 5 minutes gonna have a chance to get above its 50. This 1 minute has to hold. What's ETH doing?
ETH was doing giving it a good try, trying to hold that support when Bitcoin started dumping. So I don't know where it's at now, but
So look at this overlay. Excuse me, the one that we were looking at from the last bull market when ETH BTC bottomed out. Look at how the bottom of this is playing. You see that? Like you can't make this shit up.
Yeah, that's almost dead on.
I'm skeptical of this. I'm skeptical that ETH BTC makes a run here to that degree, but we'll see. It would be nice. The alts need a bit of a relief, and this would be a nice little relief for the alts. This would be what we call another sort of rescue ship, right? We had that rescue ship. We came up. We talked about if it didn't break those levels, that it wasn't a rocket ship. It was a rescue ship. A good time to peel some profits to maybe get from underwater. Even if you weren't completely back above water, you could shave a little something off. This would be another one of those sort of scenarios if this happened, right? But a bigger one, right? This move up that we had here was the relief that we've had on the alts over the past week or whatever. So just imagine what a move like that would do. The problem is that if it does play out like the fractal, and there's no reason for it to. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. This isn't magic, right? It's not like it has to play out like this. But it's important to realize and notice when things are rhyming, right? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, and that's pretty close. I mean, there's a difference in the time that it took to play out. And if I really wanted to come in here and like shrink and, but I think you can see by the structure what I'm talking about. Right. I mean,
So you're saying in the next week and a half, 2 weeks would be time to skim some profits off, or
if we get this move up, I would be suspicious that it holds. Right, so I would be very cautious up around these levels and be looking for other signs that maybe it can sustain itself.
okay.
It's just something to watch. You know what I mean? I mean, even when we came down into our accumulation at the bottom, right, where it accumulates and then it has that last liquidity sweep.
Wait, Dbloc, is that chart saying that we're gonna revisit that accumulation area
No,
potentially?
no. It's a higher low, but it does come down into that sort of range.
What is that overlay?
This is
A reload bag area.
this is the price action from 2019 when we hit bottom.
Oh, thank you.
Hit bottom, accumulate, liquidity sweep, went into an accumulation that was more like a wedge. Finally, it fell apart. And then we
Which
went.
that also created a higher low.
Yeah. It is also important to remember that this was COVID.
Whoa, dude. I
Yeah,
remember
that's
this.
saying.
Yeah, but holy crap, that is wild.
So, like I said, history tends to rhyme even if it doesn't repeat, right? So, can it be, a lower pump or a higher low or whatever? Yeah. But what the overlay did was prepare us for the possibility of this losing structure, right? We were looking at this while we were still up here accumulating in this range. Right? We were looking at this from down here. One of the reasons that I waited for this liquidity sweep was because of the sweep that we had in 2019. And everything from the higher high, the sweep down, right? To now, where we're looking at the drop. Drop, pops up, puts in a higher low. Drop, pops up, puts in a higher low. So just watch it closely over the next couple of days.
I like how you say it doesn't. If it doesn't repeat, it rhymes. That makes way sense.
Yeah, it tends to, man. It tends to. Remember, this is all a probabilities game, right? Price can literally do anything right now. We could go up and hit all-time highs if the right person presses the right button at the right time. Right? Our job is to break it down to probabilities. You have two lists: the list of things that are possible, and then the smaller, way smaller list of things that are probable, right? And our job is to use our tools and the TA and the sentiment analysis that we do, the fundamental analysis that we do, and boil those percentages down to the most probable outcome, right? And when you're satisfied that you've got that percentage as high as you can possibly get it, 70% chance this is going to play out, 80% chance this is going to play out, that's where you put your money, right? The majority of your bag goes behind the most probable move. A small portion of your bag stays on the side to defend you against what's possible.
That's probably one of the biggest things you've taught me over the years.
The problem is most people have the majority of their bag floating in the possible scenarios. Oh, what if this happens, and then this happens, and then this person says this, and then that happens? We're fucked. Pardon my French. And they'll put most of their money in that camp instead of sitting your money in what's the most probable and just taking profits, slowly taking profits. Shit's gonna happen, bro. It's always gonna happen. Something's always gonna happen that's unpredictable. Black swan comes out of somewhere, whatever. But if you stay gun shy for the possibility of that happening, like, you're gonna leave some money on the table. Jacob, just pattern recognition, bro. There's really nothing that can, it's just realizing that at the same time, in the same place, you know, under the same conditions, price did something similar.
Would you say we're more bullish right now than in 2019?
There's more bullish catalysts, but there's less money floating around for risk assets. 2019, we were going into hardcore QE. Everybody had money in their pocket. Yeah, by the end of 2020, $3 out of every $5 in your pocket was printed in the last 2 years. But people don't realize the amount of money printing that we did, right? So because of that, all risk assets just went up. You know, if BTC went up, it didn't matter what the alt was. If it was an alt, it went up, and it probably went up higher than BTC did, right? You didn't have to be good. All you had to do was be in the game. Now it's different, right? There's a skill level now that comes in because you can't just throw the dart at the board blindly. There's 10 million coins. You know, they're not all going to go. So your selection has to be a lot better now. And your being able to take profits has to be, there's no, during this sort of environment with tight QT, there's no buy and hold when it comes to alts. There's buy at the lowest possible point and take advantage of any pump that you get, because chances are you're going to get retracements, right? Even the bullish ones get retracements that you can get back into. But getting into that habit of taking profit early on alts and picking the right alts has made all the difference. If you pick the right alts and you played the narratives and you jump from narrative to narrative, you're not waiting for alt season. You've had your alt season. If you were a buy and hold type of person, which there's nothing wrong with, right? That was rewarded during the last bull market. It's just being able to notice that it wasn't going to work during this one, right? But if you were a buy and hold person, then yeah, you're still waiting for alt season. You're like, when alt season? Right? Everybody else that traded it heavily has already 10x, 15x their portfolio. And while you're waiting for the explosive alt season, they're waiting for like maybe another 4 or 5x on there. 4 or 5x and they're gone.
Right, you're right. Back then, and 6, 7 years ago, it was a dartboard, and there was many people in here that threw the dart. But now you're right, it's not the same.
Amara, yeah, I look at everything. My thesis right now is that the large market cap memes are the only ones that are really worth looking at. Right. Even the main guys in the meme coin trenches are sort of rounding their wagons around higher market cap memes right now. But yeah, we look at everything.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll be playing with some micro caps during the bear market.
Oh, I can't wait when we get down to that. I mean, you guys, anybody that was here during the bottom of the bear market, remember the risks I was taking. It's funny because like people are like, oh, Dbloc's such a safe trader. He never degens, and he's like, bro, listen, listen. There's a time and a place, right? That's the only. All I'm saying is right now is not the time. But
Definitely.
yeah, when it comes time, I can degen as good as the rest of them. That's for sure.
We
Yeah,
be in the
it,
trench.
it was definitely fun back then, for sure.
That's where the money was. You know, shit was going up 10 million market cap per day just cuz. But now the game is
Eh,
different, bro. When memes first came out, if you guys weren't here early, you missed the like the honeymoon period of the meme sort of super cycle, right? Where like you'd get in a project and it would just go up and to the right for 3 or 4 months at a time. Like all you had to do
Yeah,
was sit there.
yeah, you can invest in potato coin and make money.
Yeah. And then eventually what happened is MEV bots came in and sniper bots came in. All the bullshit started. Now these pumps, instead of being 3 months, would only last 3 weeks. And then it got to the point that they only lasted 3 days. And now you jump in the trenches and you're lucky if you've got 3 minutes. If you're in that coin for 3 hours, it's a decent coin at that point. Most of these things are
Bro,
getting ripped in the first 30 minutes.
It's actually good. At least I don't get to stare
Yo,
at the
yo,
chart.
Dbloc, you have your eyes on Litecoin at all? Litecoin's looking kind of
Yeah,
bullish right
Litecoin
now.
looks good, man. Litecoin's on my list of altcoin ETF summer. So we talked about summer being positive or not. There's a couple of things, in my opinion, that have to happen for summer to be bullish. One, the best one would be a rate cut before the summer. We got a rate cut here in July. That would be amazing. But the other thing would be these altcoin ETFs. A lot of their dates where they're supposed to get word start right, sort of beginning, middle of the summer, right? So if these things start rolling in and we start getting these ETFs, that could spark, you know, all the activity that we need for the summer. But you'd have to be focused on those altcoins that have ETF proposals, right? Your Solanas, your Chainlinks, your Litecoins, your H bars, Doge. What else? I know I'm missing something. There's a couple of more.
is XRP in there?
XRP is definitely in there. XLM is in there. There's a
Should
couple
we-
of more, but they're higher cap utility coins, right? These aren't like coins we haven't heard of. But if they start getting those, you got to realize what it means to get an ETF, right? When you get an ETF and that ETF gets put into funds, that's institutional buying pressure, constant institutional buying pressure, right? That's buying pressure from 401ks every week. That's, you know, that's so I'm focused on those. And then I'm focused on high market cap memes and gaming coins. That's how I'm structuring my portfolio going into the summer.
How do you feel about Jasmine still?
I love Jasmine. Jasmine's my number 2 position right now. Sui took
Yeah,
its
that
place as number 1, but that's just because Sui was showing off towards the end of.
Jasmine's in my top 5 as well.
You know, and when it comes to ETFs, right? Like Bitcoin was the first ETF approved, followed by ETH, and then from everything I've read, the next ones that are like up next, sort of, are like the top 2 contenders are Solana and Litecoin. And then I was realizing that Litecoin is actually a proof of work, just like Bitcoin. So it doesn't have to
Litecoin,
deal with staking and none
it's
of that. Like,
safe.
so if the SEC was to SEC was supposed to was to approve it. It has more history than all of them. It's proof of work.
If Bitcoin's a
I feel like
commodity,
Litecoin's
it's hard
fun.
to argue that Litecoin isn't. Yeah, there's
Or
a
like at
couple
least
of good
Solana,
things
there's a
going for
chance, right? You
Litecoin.
can kind of label it as a commodity, maybe, because
I,
not really,
I
but
mean, if it's a derivative, you'd have to they'd have to boil it down, but it's basically a derivative of a commodity, so it's kind of hard.
And after that tweet though they did, man, I don't know if they can be commodities or nothing, man. They're toast after that tweet, in my opinion. I'm
it
still
was
hurting.
We're the only ones that remember that shit, bro.
I know.
Nobody else remembers that shit.
But yo, Bloomberg did they raised their chances 90% for XRP, Solana, and Dogecoin ETFs. So is that like 70% chance that was going to get approved? Now they raised it up to 90% chance.
Yeah, I'd have to check. I got a list here somewhere. Let me see.
no. Bloomberg had raised Litecoin and Solana to 90% weeks ago, and XRP and Doge were like around 70. So maybe they've re-upgraded Doge and XRP to 90 now, which means
Okay,
if
yeah,
Solana and Litecoin were at 90, they should be even 95 now.
let me check right now.
With this 98K low, SHIB just put in a weekly bullish divergence. I think it's about a fly.
Wait for confirmation, guys.
And the monthly
Okay, I think you're right.
stochastic RSI is at like 2. It's ready to just fly back up to 100.
Yeah, so now XRP, Dogecoin, and Cardano joined ETF proposals for Litecoin, Solana, Polkadot. So Litecoin, Solana, Polkadot, Avalanche, they already had a 90%. You're right. And now XRP, Dogecoin, and Cardano joined that 90% bunch.
It's a little bit higher. I mean, I'll get the updated one, but this is what we're looking at right now. Litecoin, Sol, XRP, Doge, Cardano, Polkadot, HBAR, Avalanche, Sui, and Tron.
Oh, 95? Let's go.
XRP is at 95%, Solana's at 95%, Litecoin is at 95%, and Litecoin has when is it? October 2nd is the final SEC deadline, so that's a little late. But we'll see if they push it. The problem is if they push it. Like, they have the ability to push all of these decisions till October. Let's see if they actually do it, or if they throw us a bone.
Yeah, I've never seen
Yeah,
that list.
if Bloomberg gives you anything over 70%, you're good.
Oh, speaking of percentages, let's see. Did we tick up yet on FedWatch? The only argument is it going to be 0.25 or is it going to be 0.5? So the question now is going to be a hot girl summer, or are we going to be bored as shit?
I think it's going to be a cruel summer for the Bears.
I hold Tau, Faye. Tau's an easy, sort of easy blue chip access to AI if you don't want to be too degen.
All right. I saw something on Twitter. It's like new. It's like similar to Tau though. It just got listed on Binance and a bunch of stuff. But I haven't dug into it. It was some post I saw. I'm gonna look into it. I'll look into it. It's called Sahara AI. Sahara AI.
Oh, bro, I was just looking at Sahara. It looks like it just got added recently onto my platform, and it ate the dump.
Yeah, it's dumping pretty hard. That's what I was wondering.
Remember, guys, that these things that were
But
available on
it just
dexes
got listed
before,
on everywhere.
that's these exchange listings don't have the effect that they used to. Because what it does is it gives people who bought on dexes, people who got early allocations, gives them somewhere that they can sell to their bank. Right? Like every new place that you give somebody something to buy, you're giving them the ability to sell it. And if it's on exchanges where it can be shorted, then that's an easy play, right? Like you get an early allocation in something, it gets listed on centralized exchange, you sell into that pump, and then you short it. You know, and you wait for the retracement from everybody selling off on exchanges. It's been pretty easy money that trade, whether it's memes, AI projects. Me personally, I've been hesitating jumping in to exchange listings. I'll wait. I'll buy the dip if I like the project.
And you don't have to be 5 mil liquidated, credited, and all that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But we're gonna focus so hard on getting everybody's hot wallets and Web3 sort of knowledge up during the bear market, so that during the next bull market we're celebrating when these things go on exchanges because we're selling our bags instead of buying into it and becoming exit liquidity.
So that, yeah, I'll definitely be around for that one.
Yeah, Ryan, they do it on purpose, bro. I guarantee you that it's probably even sold to early investors. Like, look, you know, and it's a product of this market, though, right? Because you couldn't do that during the last bear market. You listed something on centralized during the last bull market. You listed something on centralized exchange that was even near to a hot narrative, and it would go absolutely crazy. But with the lack of liquidity that we got riding around now, it's a pretty sure bet that once it gets access, um, retail won't be there to sort of counteract the sell pressure. So it's like an easy short. You know how many times they've run that same move on memes? Buy in, snipe, get in a sniper bot on some meme, pump it up to a crazy evaluation. As soon as it goes on exchange, dump your entire bag and short that shit into the ground.
Yeah, my first experience with that was Pepe. I held throughout when it got listed on Binance. I was like, we made it, we made it. It just got short. I don't know what happened. I just
It
held the
sucks
entire
because
time.
it's such a bullish catalyst. Like to retail, it sounds like such a bullish catalyst, right? And it used to be, and the OGs talk about it as a bullish catalyst because it used to be, but not during this run.
Yo, that Pepe lesson, man. I had such a big bag of Pepe before it got listed on Binance, and then but I was new still, and I didn't realize that like, oh, listing on Binance, listing on exchanges is a bearish thing, and I was like, oh, it's just a dip. It's just a dip. I saw my entire bag just ride all the way down,
Yeah.
and then I panic sold somewhere, and then it's popped, and then yeah, Pepe messed me up, man. Pepe messed me up big.
Prize, we haven't flipped bullish momentum here on the 5 minute. I would worry in your position if we hold this 50. But if not, this is just another fake out like we had here. Right? Momentum is still bearish on the 5 minute. And we've got a large vector underneath that still needs to be reclaimed if that support doesn't hold. So nah, Cav. If dominance tops at 69 420, is this officially a simulation? I'll just give into it at that point. Man, we've seen crazier things happen. We saw Doge get its first NASCAR sponsorship. And then we
Let's
all
go.
sat there and watched it go around in a circle, in a circle, in a circle until the last lap where it hit the wall and came across the finish line backwards in last place. Like, this is the type of shit you'd only expect to see in movies.
Let's go, bro.
Like-
that was so dope.
Like, how bad could it like, what's the worst possible scenario? Worst possible scenario is coming across last place backwards. Sometimes the most entertaining outcome seems to be what happens, bro. It's almost like this is some reality show that we're just all living in.
I think you were actually relating that point too to like the conspiracy thing, which I thought was just a great like counterpoint. It's like there's no way the guy goes across backwards.
Nah, it's not.
Yeah, how bullish is that? That your race car with a Doge on it crosses the finish line backwards.
It was bad, bro. It was bad for the charts that day. It was bad.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, because everybody was
Dang,
watching.
dude.
Everybody made, and it's stupid, right? That has nothing to do with Doge. Like, why should Doge price go down? But people just took it like an omen.
Oh man, that was dope TV, dude. That was like the best TV, dude.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
that's a NASCAR fan's dream.
it's far from bullish.
Yeah, I'm suing the whole country. I just got it straight up. I just got an email from my lawyer. I thought we were just suing like 3 municipalities, like 3 different like kind of court and whatever records keeping place.
Yeah.
But we're going in, man. Like, I'm suing the whole country. He basically worded that, like, you know, the whole government also is responsibly been lacking on some of the things and preventing me to do my property transfer in Romania. I've been trying to do this since 2018, and they've just been like blocking me on everything. And we're about to go, and they have one last chance to send us what we need by July 1st. And if we don't get that July 1st, we're going in, baby.
You need to sue Romania for how they treated you growing up, all the pain and suffering.
Oh, I am gonna add all of that. ChatGPT told me to add anything I have, like any bad experiences I have. I mean, I got culture shock when I went back right after high school because I was like, you know, I was in the States for high school, and then right after that, I went there, and it was like I got traumatized, man. I got robbed the first day. There was like, "Welcome to Romania. Here, get robbed." You know, I got jacked.
Nah, you shouldn't have to live with those memories, bro. Somebody's got to pay.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm still hurt.
Yeah, sue them like you did Bronco.
Oh, but me and Bronk, we got no problems. We're great. We're friends.
I know you are now.
I get the red carpet treatment now. They almost convinced me to buy limited yesterday. I didn't do it though. I held my ground. I was so close to buying it. It was the King of the Hammers edition. There's only 250 made.
You can flip
You
that,
didn't get
yo.
it?
Nope, I didn't get it. I held my ground, man. He gave me such a good offer too. $45,000 off MSRP.
Boy. But you could probably flip